BoJack Horseman is a sad character. He's a man shaped by years of emotional damage, bad choices, and a deep inability to escape himself, his addiction, his failed relationships, or his fading career. He's trapped in this self-destruction that started long before the fame, before Hollywood, and long before he even understood what happiness was supposed to feel like.
Diane, I need you to tell me that it's not too late.
BoJack,
I need you to tell me that I'm a good person.
To understand BoJack, you have to start with his childhood. He grew up in a house where love didn't really exist. His mother, Beatrice, was cold, resentful, and emotionally abusive.
You ruined me, BoJack.
I know.
You better grow up to be something great, to make up for all the damage you've done.
I will.
His father, Butterscotch, was bitter, unsuccessful, and openly dismissive of him. Instead of being supported, BoJack was constantly reminded that he wasn't enough, he wasn't smart enough, he wasn't talented enough, or even worthy of affection. And when a child grows up in that kind of environment, they don't just feel sad. They start to believe that something is fundamentally wrong with them.
You're a real stupid piece of shit. But I know I'm a piece of shit.
There's a moment in the series where Beatrice tells BoJack, "You are born broken." It's cruel, but more importantly, it becomes something that BoJack internalizes.
You were born broken. That's your birthright.
This is the foundation of his depression. He doesn't just think he makes bad choices, he thinks he is bad. And when you believe that at your core, it changes how you move through the world. Every mistake and every failure becomes confirmation. As BoJack gets older, he finds escape in acting, landing the lead role in Horsing Around. This gives him something he's never had before, validation. For the first time, people are laughing with him, paying attention to him, and admiring him. The show becomes his identity. It's not just a job, it's proof that he matters. But this is where another problem begins, because that validation isn't real in the way that he needs it to be. It's conditional, it's based on performance, and deep down, BoJack knows that.
Well, those boobs and jerkwads are the best friends you'll ever have. Without them, you're nothing. Remember that. The most important thing is you gotta give the people what they want, even if it kills you.
During the peak of Horsing Around, BoJack is surrounded by people, but he's still alone. He forms connections with his co-stars, especially Sarah Lynn, but even those relationships are complicated. Instead of being a stable adult figure in her life, he becomes part of the dysfunction. This pattern of wanting to help but ultimately causing harm follows him throughout the series. It reinforces his belief that he ruins everything he touches. When Horsing Around ends, BoJack loses the one thing that made him valuable. The transformation from being a beloved sitcom star to a washed-up celebrity hits him hard. He's no longer relevant, no longer admired in the same way, and because his entire sense of self was built around that success, he doesn't know who he is without it. And this is where his depression deepens. It's no longer just about the past, it's about his present feeling empty and meaningless. His coping mechanisms only make things worse. BoJack turns to alcohol, drugs, and self-destructive behavior to numb his feelings. But instead of solving anything, these habits amplify his problems. They lead to impulsive decisions, broken relationships, and moments that he can't take back. And each time something goes wrong, it fits into the same narrative. This is who I am. I ruin things. His relationship with Princess Caroline is one of the earliest examples of this cycle. She genuinely cares about him and tries to support his career and his life, but BoJack takes her for granted. He leans on her when he needs help, but doesn't give her the emotional stability she deserves. And when the relationship ends, it's just another failure that adds to his growing list of regrets. And then there's Todd Chavez, who represents something BoJack doesn't understand: unconditional kindness. Todd forgives him over and over again, even when BoJack betrays him in major ways, like sabotaging his rock opera. But instead of appreciating that kindness, BoJack resents it, because Todd's optimism highlights everything BoJack isn't. It forces him to confront the fact that he could choose to be better, but he doesn't. One of the most important relationships in BoJack's life is with Herb Kazaz. Herb was his best friend and the creator of Horsing Around. When Herb is fired after being publicly outed, BoJack has a chance to stand up for him. And he doesn't. He chooses his career over his friendship. This moment haunts him for the rest of his life. When he finally visits Herb years later to apologize, he's looking for closure and forgiveness. But Herb refuses. He tells BoJack that he has to live with what he did.
I'm not going to give you closure. You have to live with the shitty thing you did for the rest of your life.
This is a turning point because it strips away BoJack's usual escape. He can't fix this. He can't undo this. He has to sit with the reality that some damage is permanent. As the series progresses, BoJack keeps chasing things he believes will make him feel better, writing his memoir, starring in Secretariat, winning awards. Each of these goals becomes something he fixates on, but every time he achieves one, the feeling doesn't last. There's a brief moment of satisfaction and then it fades. This is one of the clearest portrayals of his depression. His inability to feel fulfilled even when everything seems to be going right. His role in Secretariat is especially significant. The character of Secretariat is someone BoJack idolized as a child. Playing him feels like a chance of rewriting his own story. But even that becomes complicated. The film is manipulated, his performance is done by CGI because he was in New Mexico. And the success feels hollow. Instead of being proud, BoJack feels like a fraud. The situation with Sarah Lynn is one of the darkest points in the series and a major contributor to his depression. After reconnecting with her as an adult, they go on a destructive binge together. It ends with Sarah Lynn's overdose and death. BoJack is there when it happens, and his actions, or lack of action, play a role in the outcome. This isn't just another mistake. It isn't something he can rationalize or downplay. It forces him to confront the reality that his behavior doesn't just hurt people emotionally, it can destroy lives. After this, BoJack tries to change. He goes to New Mexico, where he reconnects with Charlotte, someone from his past who represents a simpler, happier version of his life. For a moment, it seems like he might find peace, but once again, he sabotages it. His actions with Penny, Charlotte's daughter, cross a line that can't be uncrossed.
And if you ever try to contact me or my family again, I will fucking kill you.
It's another example of BoJack getting close to something good and then ruining it. And each time this happens, it reinforces the same belief. He doesn't deserve happiness. When BoJack returns to Los Angeles, his depression is heavier than ever. He's not just dealing with regret. He's drowning in it. This leads him to rehab, which is one of the first times he actually tries to confront his issues instead of running away from them. Rehab isn't a magical solution, but it represents a shift. For once, BoJack acknowledges that he needs help. During this period, we see glimpses of who BoJack could be. He becomes more self-aware, more accountable, and more willing to face his past. His time teaching acting at Wesleyan is another step in that direction. For a while, he seems stable. He's not constantly spiraling. He's building something resembling a normal life. But BoJack's past doesn't stay buried. The truth about Sarah Lynn eventually comes out along with other details about his behavior.
When she was intoxicated, you had sex with her. And when she was sober, you gave her the heroin that killed her.
The public backlash is insane. He loses his career, his reputation, and whatever sense of progress he had built. This is one of the harshest realities of his story, that growth doesn't erase consequences. You can change, but you still have to face what you've done. His relapse after this is devastating, but not surprising. It shows how fragile his progress was. Without the external structure of his new life, he falls back into old patterns. It's about the feeling that no matter what he does, he'll end up in the same place. The near-death experience in the episode, The View from Halfway Down, is a culmination of everything BoJack has been running from. It forces him to confront his fears, his regrets, and the possibility of death. The people he encounters in that sequence, Hub, Sarah Lynn, Secretariat, aren't just memories. They're representations of parts of his life he can't escape. It's a moment of clarity, but also of terror. Because for the first time, BoJack realizes that there might not be another chance to fix things. BoJack's depression isn't about what happened to him. It's about what he does with what happened. It's about the patterns he falls into, the choices he makes, and the beliefs he holds on to. He wants to be better, but wanting isn't the same as doing. And even when he tries, it's messy, inconsistent, and often too late to undo the damage. Because he was raised to believe that he was unlovable, he built his identity on external validation that wasn't enough. He uses self-destructive behaviors to cope instead of addressing his pain, because he repeatedly hurts the people around him and then has to live with the consequences. And because he struggles to believe that change is possible even when he's actively trying. BoJack's depression is existential. It's not only about feeling sad or guilty, it's about constantly questioning whether anything means anything at all. Throughout BoJack Horseman, BoJack keeps circling the same question in different forms. Am I a good person, or am I just pretending to be one? The more he asks it, the worse he feels.
Diane, I need you to tell me that it's not too late.
BoJack,
I need you to tell me that I'm a good person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good.
Because he's not actually looking for an answer. He's looking for reassurance that he doesn't deserve. There's a pattern in BoJack's life where he sabotages anything that could challenge his negative self-image. When things are going well, when he's sober, working, building relationships, there's always a moment where he pulls back or acts out. And it's not random. It's almost like stability feels unnatural to him. Chaos, on the other hand, feels familiar. It reminds him of his childhood, of the emotional unpredictability he grew up with. So even when life becomes calm, he disrupts it because part of him doesn't trust that it can last. This is especially clear in the way he handles accountability. BoJack often confesses his wrongdoings, but not always for the right reasons. Sometimes his honesty is another form of self-destruction. Instead of taking responsibility and working towards change, he exposes his flaws in a way that pushes people away. It's like he's saying, "Look how bad I am, you should leave," and when they do, it confirms what he already believes.
You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself like that makes it okay. You need to be better.
I know.
Another layer of BoJack's depression is his relationship with time. He's constantly haunted by the past, but he's also afraid of the future. His past is filled with regret, with Herb, Sarah Lynn, and Penny, all the moments he wishes he could undo. But the future doesn't feel hopeful either. It feels empty, uncertain, and undeserved. So he gets stuck in the present, unable to move forward or let go. That's why so much of his life feels stagnant, even when things are changing around him. There's also the issue of identity. BoJack doesn't know who he is outside of his pain and his fame. When he's not acting or being admired or being the center of attention, he feels invisible. And when he is those things, he feels fake. This contradiction keeps him in a constant state of dissatisfaction, so no matter where he is, something feels wrong. His depression is also tied to his inability to accept love. People do care about BoJack, like Princess Caroline, Todd, Diane. All these people do care about him at different points in his life, but he struggles to believe it. When someone shows him kindness, he either pushes them away or tests them until they leave. It's not because he doesn't want love. It's because he can't trust it. Growing up without constant affection taught him that love is temporary, conditional, and eventually withdrawn. So instead of embracing it, he braces himself for when it ends. The industry he lives in only makes things worse. Hollywood rewards performance, not authenticity. It celebrates people at their peak and discards them when they're no longer useful. For someone like BoJack, someone who already ties his worth to external validation, this environment is so toxic. Every rejection, every failed project, every young star replacing him reinforces the idea that he's losing value. And because he doesn't have a strong internal sense of self, he absorbs that message. He rarely experiences joy without immediately questioning it. If something good happens, his first instinct isn't to enjoy it, it's to analyze it, to doubt it, or to expect it to disappear. This is one of the most realistic portrayals of depression in the series. It's not just about feeling bad. It's about being unable to feel good. Even happiness becomes uncomfortable because it feels temporary or undeserved. His near-death experience doesn't magically fix this, but it does shift something. For once, BoJack is forced to confront the finality of his choices. There's no more "I'll fix it later", there's no more destruction, just the realization that life can end before you become the person you keep promising to be. And when he survives, the realization grounds him in a way that he's never been before. There's a shift. BoJack is no longer chasing happiness in the same desperate way. He's not trying to prove his worth through fame or success. He's simply just existing, taking responsibility and moving forward one day at a time. BoJack isn't fixed. He doesn't wake up one day completely free of guilt, regret, or sadness. But he starts to understand that his depression isn't something he can outrun or erase. It's something he has to manage, something he has to live with and not let control every decision he makes. Because as long as BoJack believes he's broken beyond despair, every experience, good or bad, will be filtered through that belief. And changing that belief isn't something that happens overnight. It's slow and uncomfortable. And for someone like BoJack, it might be the hardest thing he ever has to do. His depression comes from a lifetime of trying to fill a void that was never properly addressed. The only way forward isn't to erase the past, it's to live with it, without letting it define every part of who you are. Thank you for watching this video. Please tell me your thoughts down below, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!